Welcome to another Honkai Star Rail video. Version 4.2 is finally here, and with it we of course got a new character, Saber Build level 999, but I'm actually more interested in the characters that were added to the shop, Robin and Huohuo. Because these two are actually pretty good teammates for Saber. And if you've watched my channel for a while, then you know that I have an E6 Saber, since she is one of my favorite fictional characters ever, so I saved up for a long time and managed to get her to E6. But I still kind of have a pretty scuffed team for her. I mean, if we look at the right here, we have Bronya, Tingyun, and Danhang Terra. I mean, this team works pretty well. It's enough to clear endgame reliably, but of course this is far from Saber's best team. Now I actually do have Sparkle, who I could use instead of Bronya as an action advancer for Saber, but I just really like Bronya, so I'm using her wherever I can. And Tingyun is a pretty good 4-star support for Saber, but is of course outclassed by some of the 5-star supports. I don't have Cyrene, I don't have Sunday, so I pretty much have to use this. Or, you know, RMC is also an option, but I usually use her in some other teams. So it's kind of a struggle, you know, building a good Saber team with the characters I have. But this is gonna change today, because I'm gonna get some more team building options with Robin and Huohuo. And Huohuo especially is gonna be so useful, because she's gonna free up Danhang from the Saber team and take the sustain slot, which is so important, because Danhang is actually a character I need in several different teams. Like my Acheron team wants him, my Archer team wants him, my Saber team wants him. But now if I get Huohuo, I can use Danhang in the other teams and just use her in the Saber team. Though the question is, of course, is she actually as good as Danhang? Because he's really, really good. And I think in terms of sustain, she is a bit worse, but in terms of like support, she also gets a lot of attack, especially with the Nova Flare now, I think. So we might still get pretty good results with her. And then of course, Robin is also not the greatest support anymore, since, you know, supports like Tribby and Cyrene and so on exist nowadays that are better for Saber, but I don't have any of them. So yeah, having another support in the form of Robin is gonna be really nice. And I also just really like Robin. And as you can see, I have 2 of these Golden Companion Spirits, so I can get both of them, because I saved the one that we got when Topaz was added to the shop, because I didn't want Topaz. So yeah, now, thanks to that, I can get both Robin and Huohuo. So yeah, let's just do it. Let's claim Huohuo first. There we go. I finally got her. And immediately after, I'm gonna claim Robin. There we go. Now I got both of them and no Golden Companion Spirits left, but that's fine. We're gonna get some more in the future probably. So yeah, now let's go ahead and build them. I already have all the materials prepared for them. I pre-farmed everything, but yeah, I'm gonna skip ahead to when they actually build. So see you in a minute. Okay, so now my Robin and Huohuo are both built, and they also have their traces maxed out, and I gave them some relics. So let's go over these builds. Robin first, she has over 4000 attack, that's of course her most important stat, and I also gave her a bit of speed, and of course, even more important, energy recharge, so she can hopefully ult quite frequently. And yeah, I also have her signature light cone here, but not because I bought it from the shop. I actually rolled for this light cone like over a year ago. Not specifically actually for this light cone, I was rolling for Dance 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 and just happened to get an early 5-star, which was this one. And I never uploaded this as a video, these rolls, because I actually did them doing one of my story videos. When I was recording that, I just spontaneously decided to roll for Dance 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 for some reason. And yeah, that story video is still not out because I'm so behind on uploading my story videos, but yeah, that happened. I've had this Lycon ever since, and now I can finally use it on Robin. And fun fact, Huohuo also has a signature Lycon, but yeah, that rolling video is already uploaded. That was also over a year ago, I think. Most of you probably don't remember, but I was rolling for this, for my Gallagher actually, who was my main sustain that I used back then, and I felt his healing was a bit lackluster, so I tried to get this Lycon and actually managed to get it. But nowadays I don't really use Gallagher anymore, so I'm fine with putting this on Huohuo now. But yeah, let's go back to Robin and take a look at the rest of her build. I already showed that the traces are maxed out, and for the relics I'm using Lushaka as the planar set, and then a combination of Musketeer and Sarkados. And I of course focused on mainly attack, and also these artifacts have a bit of speed, with an attack body, attack boots, attack orb, just full attack, and then of course energy regeneration rate on the rope. That's Robin. So now let's go over to Huohuo. She has a lot of HP and also quite a bit of speed, and I also gave her some energy recharge and effect resistance since I'm using Broken Keel on her. And then as for the relics, I'm using Warrior Goddess and Broken Keel with a focus on HP and speed. As you can see on these artifacts, outgoing healing boost, body, speed boots, HP orb, and energy regeneration rope. So those are the builds. Now let's find out how well these two characters actually work with Saber. And for that we are gonna go to MOC 12, which as you can see already 3-starred in this rotation, and I actually used my Saber team for the first half here. And yeah, with this Bronja, Tingyun, and Hang team, it took 2 cycles to beat MOC 12 first half. So not bad, but could be better of course. But yeah, now the first question is what happens if I switch out Den Hang for Huohuo here? Is this actually gonna be as good as with Den Hang, or maybe a little bit worse, maybe a little bit better? I don't really know. I'm expecting it to be a little bit worse, but we'll see. The important thing here is to see if Huohuo can actually keep the team alive. Because as long as she can do that, I think we won't really have any trouble in terms of like damage output. We just need her to sustain well, so that she frees up Den Hang for other teams. But yeah, let's just go in like this. I'm gonna test Robin later. For now, just Huohuo. And hopefully this goes well. Let's just use all the techniques. Gonna use Tingyun's twice to immediately get her ult. Then also Huohuo, and we initiate with Saber. Okay, and then I immediately use Tingyun's ult and her skill to buff Saber up. We buff her up even more with Bronja. And now we should immediately get our mana burst so that we can activate the ult. Yeah, there we go. And yeah, now is a basic attack enough here to get whose ult is the question. Let's try it. Okay, it was enough. So now we can get the attack buff from Huohuo as well, and then we ult with Saber. Oh, Bronja also got her ult here, but I already clicked Saber's ult. I wish you could back out of this here when you already clicked the ult but haven't actually used it yet. But I don't think you can. Oh well. Whatever. I'm gonna save the second ult for now, until I use the enhanced basic attack, so that I get another enhanced basic immediately. Do have enough skill points here, so let's use this. And then we can skill again with Bronja. Do enhanced basic, and then we ult. Perfect. And then we immediately do this to get another Saber ult. Well, first enhanced basic, then we do the skill, and then we get another ult here. We do have enough skill points to skill, so let's do that, because that gives more energy. I don't think we are clearing the first wave in one cycle. Yeah, no, it's not looking great. Oh, and Tingyun is actually taking a lot of damage, but she immediately gets healed up a bit when her turn starts, thanks to Huohuo. So yeah, so far in terms of sustain, it's actually pretty decent. I don't see much of a difference compared to Den Hang in that aspect at least. But it does seem slower in terms of like, yeah, we are already done with the first cycle, but still on the first wave. But now this should do the trick. It actually didn't. Okay, but now... Just die already. Why is this thing so tanky? Okay, now we're at the actual boss. Let's buff up Saber here. Attack to get rid of some of the war armor stacks. Then I guess we can ult, but this probably does not do a lot of damage here. Still had way too many stacks of its armor. That's kind of the problem with this team and this boss, that you kind of have to attack him to get rid of these armor stacks. But 3 out of 4 characters here don't really like attacking much. They usually just use their skills on other characters. I mean, here I think it's fine to basic attack now. Tingyun also still has 2 stacks here of his skill, so we can actually basic attack again, I guess. And use her ult on Saber. And use her ult as well. Now, let's hope that this does some good damage now. Yeah, okay, that's actually not bad. Let's heal up a bit. Huohuo got her ult, so can get some energy back here. Perfect. Okay, this should get rid of the first HP bar. No. Why? I thought I removed a lot of the resistance stacks. Sometimes this boss is so weird, like... You attack these things a bunch and him a bunch to get rid of all the armor he has, but then suddenly the ult still only does like 2%. I don't get it sometimes. It's such an annoying boss. Like, even when I spam the ult like this, it's still not enough. It's so annoying. This boss with its stupid resistances. Okay, yeah, that was really good damage now. That's what I like to see. And even those big attacks from the boss, the big nukes, we survive. Thanks to Huohuo. Okay. And now this should end him. Not quite yet. Okay, used the ults in the wrong order here. It's fine. Yeah, this is gonna be like a 5-cycle clear. And now the really big nuke from this boss, but we still survived. So yeah, everything is well. Let's do this and also use Tingyun's ult. And the next Saber ult should finish him off. There we go. Remaining cycles 26, so it was like a 4-cycle clear. That's 2 cycles more than with Dan Heng. So yeah, Huohuo is definitely a bit worse when it comes to damage, but she was able to sustain well here. No one died, not even Tingyun, and Tingyun is pretty frail. Usually when I don't use a shielder, Tingyun dies pretty often with some of my other healers, you know, like Lingsha and Gallagher. But Huohuo here was able to keep Tingyun alive, and I see this as a win, even if it was a bit too many cycles. But it's still within 3-star pace, you know, because everything that's 5 cycles or less is 3-star pace. And I don't really care about 0 cycling. I knew from the beginning that my Saber teams with the characters I have wouldn't really be able to 0 cycle. So I'm fine as long as we stay within the 5-cycle margin. And, you know, as long as the team also stays alive, which both of these things were the case here. So yeah, while it is a downgrade compared to Dan Heng, Huohuo definitely works here as an alternative option to him if I need him in another team. But yeah, now let's leave and put Robin in the team, because I want to see how much this changes with her. If we replace Tingyun here, I think, yeah, she's the one I should replace here. I think we need Bronya for the action advance since I'm using base speed Saber. And yeah, talking about it, I haven't actually shown my Saber build yet, have I? I should probably do that real quick. It's not really changed since the last time I showed it, so I'm not gonna make this too long. She is base speed, just a little bit of speed I got on the relics, and has 80 crit rate and 221 crit damage with 3200 attack. The light cone is a signature light cone. The traces are all maxed out. Relics, I'm using Sasotto and Scholar. These are the relics, let's go over them real quick. Pretty standard in terms of, you know, main stats and stuff. And she is E6. Okay, so that was the quick Saber overview. Now let's go back and test this team with Robin. Let's see how this goes. So we immediately use Robin's skill here to buff our team's damage. That wasn't quite enough to get her ult, but we're pretty close. And we did actually get Huohuo's ult here, but yeah, first I'm gonna action advance Saber here. Then we use this to get some energy. That should give us enough energy for Robin, hopefully. Yeah, it does. So now we can activate Robin's ult. I love this song. Anyway, let's ult with Bronya, and then Saber has a bunch of buffs now, so let's obliterate these enemies. And we can immediately... Actually, I should basic attack here, not skill. Then we advance Saber for the enhanced basic attack, immediately followed by another ult for huge damage. Yeah, over 2 million there, that's actually really good. And immediately another enhanced basic attack. I think this time we can actually do it within 1 cycle here, the first wave. Wait a minute. Is this skill gonna be enough? Almost, okay, I'm just gonna ult here. Finish him off in this cycle. I was hoping I could save the ult for the next wave. But yeah, it's better, I think, to finish wave 1 in cycle 1, because now we are still in the first cycle here on wave 2. Perfect, that's what we like to see. So Robin already making a significant difference here compared to our previous run. Exactly as I hoped. Let's use her skill. This should be enough to get the ult. Yes, it is. Robin is out of her ult now. Is she gonna struggle with energy is the question here. I've heard that energy is a bit of a problem for Robin. Well, she's almost back in her ult already. So maybe it's not as much of a problem as I thought. Oh, we actually don't have any skill points here. That's bad. Oh well. Let's do this. And now we got Robin's ult. So let's use it, and then we can immediately ult with Saber after getting all the Robin buffs. Yeah, but this guy has so many resistances, it's so annoying. Enhanced basic, and now the ult should hopefully do a little bit more damage. Yeah, much better, much better. And immediately we can do it again. And then we advance Saber again. Perfect, we also got Huohuo's ultimate back. Yeah, so far this is going pretty well, I think. Definitely better than the previous run. Big damage, and we can immediately attack again. Robin is out of her ult, but we should get enough energy here. Yeah, we can immediately go back into ult with Robin. Ooh, she almost died there. No, she's almost dead. Stop attacking. Ult. We need to ult to get healing. Okay, we are fine. That was close, but we are fine. Everyone is still alive. That's what we like to see. And now big damage. Is this enough to finish him off? Not quite. Ooh, big attack. Oh, Robin is dying. No, she isn't. Okay. It's a roller coaster of emotions. Okay. We are still fine. Skill here with Saber. Then skill with Huohuo. And hopefully get her ult here. Yes, and now that should be enough to get Saber's ult and finish him off in this cycle. Perfect. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Okay, yeah, that was actually not bad. Remain cycles 28. That was like with Dan Heng. Yeah, okay. Same amount of cycles. Perfect. That is exactly what I wanted to see. So, Huohuo is a downgrade compared to Dan Heng, but then Robin is an upgrade compared to Tingyun, so it cancels out, and now we are at the same level again as with the Tingyun Dan Heng team before, and did this in 2 cycles, which, you know, I'm really okay with that. Again, I don't really care about 0 cycling. I think 2 cycles is a-okay, especially considering that this is still a very suboptimal Saber team, and yeah, now I can really just use Dan Heng on other teams. I don't have to worry about needing him on the Saber team. Huohuo and Robin work just as well. Perfect. Okay, that's all I wanted basically. That already made it worth it getting these 2. And I could still get Robin's E1 in the future, maybe at some point, when they give out another Golden Companion Spirit. But there's one more thing I want to test here, and that is what happens if I use Dan Heng here. Because the thing is, even though Dan Heng is better than Huohuo, one thing that really helped here was, of course, Huohuo giving energy to Robin. Is Robin gonna have energy issues here if I use this team? I also could use RMC here instead of Bronya. That would probably be my best team that I can build with Saber, but I just really like Bronya. So yeah, let's just go in with this team and see how this goes now. With Dan Heng instead of Huohuo. Okay, we got Saber's ult here, but I'm gonna wait until I get Bronya's ult, which is not the case. There we go. Perfect. Sing your song, Robin, and buff my Saber. That's what we like to see. And then, if I skill here with Bronya, I'm also gonna get her ult. And now we got all the buffs. So it's time for Saber to ult. Big damage, 2.7 million, really nice. Then we immediately get the enhanced basic and we can ult again for some more huge damage. Is this enough to kill? Not quite yet. But we're almost there and we get another ult and yeah. Okay, first wave already done. Again within the first cycle. It just works. And then we immediately advance Saber again. So let's do this and then ult. How much damage is gonna do? Yeah, actually decent considering he had a bunch of armor stacks there. It's not that bad. Okay, Robin is back out of her old state, but almost has enough energy. So yeah, well, it's not perfect. It would be best, of course, if we could immediately ult again with Robin when she comes out of her ult. It's actually not bad. She's like pretty close already, just after coming out of the old state. So it feels like even without Huohuo, it's not that bad energy-wise. Okay, there we go. Now she got her ult. And Saber should also have a next ult any moment now. Yeah, there we go. So this should do huge damage. Once again. Yep. Almost killed this HP bar. Now we advance her again, and that should get rid of the last 5% now. Not quite, but maybe this. Yeah, there we go. I ulted a bit prematurely there, but it's fine. Oh my god, that was a lot of damage. Okay. And Robin got her ult back, so when she comes out of her ult, you can immediately ult again. Do I even need to use the skill again here? I think what I do is just basic attack to get rid of an armor stack and then immediately ult. Yeah, because I still have 2 turns of the skill, and it doesn't tick down while she's in ult state. So I think basic attack is actually the right play here. This and then immediately ult. Then we advance Saber again and also use Bronya ult. And that should pretty much spell his doom. Oh no, he survived there. That's not good. But we get another Saber ult immediately, but that wasn't before the end of the cycle, damn it. Okay, 27. So that was 3 cycles. There was 1 cycle less than with Huohuo, actually. So it seems like when we have Robin here, then Dan Heng is actually not that much better than Huohuo. I mean, we could have done it with 28 cycles remaining, definitely. I pressed ult there at the end, before the cycle ended, with Saber, but for some reason she didn't ult before the end of the cycle, even though I clicked it. But yeah. So I guess overall, Huohuo is actually pretty comparable to Dan Heng, depending on which team we put her in. With Tingyun in the team instead of Robin, Huohuo was much worse, significantly worse than Dan Heng. But yeah, with Robin in the team, that actually changes things a lot. Then Huohuo and Dan Heng are about equal. That is actually really good to know. And yeah, like I said before, I'm actually pretty happy with this now. I really like Robin, and she does actually feel really useful, and Huohuo is a pretty decent alternative to Dan Heng, so I can use him in other teams. So yeah, overall, I would say this was definitely a success, even though these 2 characters, Robin and Huohuo, aren't really an upgrade for my Saber, more like a side grade. It still never hurts to have more team building options. And like I mentioned before, there's of course the option of getting E1 Robin or E1 Huohuo in the future. There's actually, I think, one of the Golden Companion spirits in the spending event currently, isn't there? Yeah, at 18k. Oh, that's a lot though. I'm not sure if I'm gonna buy that. I don't know. That is... 18k is a lot. That's like 150 bucks, isn't it? But it would be an option if I want E1 Robin now. But I could also just be patient and wait until they give the next free companion spirit. That is probably the smart thing to do. But yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, then please leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more Honkai Star and other gacha content. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.